Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode of Weight Loss Psychology, where we talk about the health, the mental health, and emotional status of your health journey. So tonight we're going to talk about fixing your head to fix your body, because what happens all the time for me is that I have clients that come to me and they say, listen, if I fix my body, it's going to help me fix my head. I've got all these issues. I'm like, oh honey, that is not how this works. You have to fix your head first and then the body will follow. And what I mean by that is, whatever got you to where you're at the moment, whether you're using food as a coping mechanism to combat stress, because of trauma, whatever it is, you have to overcome those first, because otherwise you're going to keep going back to it as a coping mechanism. So if you take a look at understand how you got there, the things that you're doing, whether it's bad habits, whether it's stress, we're going to talk a little bit about that, that got you into that position where you are in an unhealthy place, whether that's with weight or too much body, excess body fat. Then you can start to tackle those things and figure out how to solve them, how to change your coping mechanisms, and how to just have a healthier lifestyle when it comes to health and nutrition, right? So, like I said, you have to make sure you're doing things in the right order, because how many people do you know have got on a diet, they've looked incredible, they reached their goal, and then they go right back to the bad habits, and not only do they put the weight back on, they put on more than they had before, and so now they're in a worse position than when they started. And that's what tends to happen, because people haven't solved that initial issue. So let's talk about the issues that might have gotten you there. And again, there's no judgment here. This is, again, we all have our own inner demons. We have reasons why we got where we were. So, for me, it was a lack of knowledge, as well as eating from boredom, and obviously from stress. And it's something that, unfortunately, my mother passed down to me, because that's what she did. That was her coping mechanism, right up until the day she died. I won't go into detail there, but, passing away from, having diabetes for that many years, having metabolic disease, I know the ins and outs of that. So let's talk about the habits and the issues. It could be that you have an unhealthy relationship with food. Maybe you grew up and when you fell down and got a boo-boo, your mama gave you ice cream, or, to keep you from crying, or maybe it was a bribe, go do your homework and then I'll give you your candy bar, whatever that was. For some people, they associate happier times and feelings with food, or, we talk about comfort foods, and that's exactly what that is something that makes us feel better. And so we tend to eat it when we aren't feeling well. It could just be over time that you've started to eat something that's unhealthy for you, or that, again, it can be a coping mechanism, because food, especially sugar, releases that dopamine hit, and we like that. That makes us feel good. That's a feel-good hormone. Alcohol, if you've had years of drinking alcohol, now, yes, over time, alcohol does some major damage to your liver and some other things there. Initially, alcohol does not make you gain fat, but it can prevent you from burning fat. So again, over time, it has this compounding effect, where, you start to have fatty liver disease and some other issues. So again, definitely a thing that you have to figure out and undo. And that might require that you get some help, some professional help. There is literally nothing wrong with that. I don't know why we have such an issue with, getting professional help if we need it. It's part of healing, right? Stress, if you're eating for stress, again, when you're stressed all the time, you're going to release that cortisol, and cortisol is going to slow down your digestive system, and it's going to prevent you from burning fat. So finding out why you get into that state all the time. And unfortunately, in this day and age, it's super easy, because we are stressed out all the time. And so our body's releasing cortisol. In the days of our ancestors, they needed it so they could run away from the danger. We don't need that. Ours is more psychological than it is physical. So figuring out how to adjust to that, whether it's meditating or taking some time off. A lot of people don't take vacations, and they really should, to get past that. It could also be emotions. If you have had a traumatic childhood, or something happened to you, or a breakup, obviously those things play a role in this. And so we have to figure out how to get past that and have a healthy relationship with ourselves. And of course, and one that we don't always think about is hormones. Are your hormones off? Is it something that you need to address? Have you hit menopause? That does do a big doozy when it comes to trying to reach your health goals. So once those things are figured out, and I'm not going to say fixed, because that's not really what it is. It's usually a process. You're going to heal from trauma. You're going to, find help or professional help in order to find coping mechanisms or tools that will help you get past those situations. Once you figure that out and you start to make better choices, fix your nutrition, avoid the constant stress and the release of cortisol, over time, not only will your body start to see the results that you actually want it to, And because it will change, right? But you will actually feel the difference, because not only physically different, but mentally and emotionally different, because you do become a different person as you grow and make those changes and work towards your goals, because the lifestyle is different. So again, it's a little, I know I'm being a little holistic, but that's really what it is. It's about creating a lifestyle, figuring out how to solve your issues, and everybody has them. So please don't feel like you're alone. You know, and if you need a community of people who've been through it, don't be afraid to find that as well. Because sometimes finding out what worked for someone else may give you a jump start or motivate you in order to find that, to help you with your journey as well. So listen, you know, it's not easy. It's not. For me, it was education. The majority was education, trying to figure out how my body worked. Everything I heard was wrong. It's not eat less, move more. It's eat right. And don't be sedentary. Really, that's what it takes. So getting past all of the reasons why I became obese was a huge issue. But I remember standing in a convenience store in the middle of Wenatchee, Washington, after one of my first competitions, and bawling in the middle of the store, because all of a sudden the thought came to me that, and don't be offended by this, guys, the fat girl no longer ruled my head. You know, the girl that had always made those horrible choices to eat when I was stressed out, or, you know, whatever that was, no longer was in charge. And that was almost 12 years ago. So you become a different person. You create a different lifestyle. You move forward and you grow. And that's part of life, and it's amazing. So have an incredible week, you guys. I hope that your journey is amazing. I support you. I'm your biggest cheerleader and your biggest fan. I want you to succeed. I want you to find health and happiness. Have an incredible week.